Hey everybody, welcome to the Twisted Cat Outdoors podcast, where we give you information on tournaments, events, everything in the catfishing world, bringing you value, tips and tricks, things that you can do out there on the water. Let's get this show started.
I think I just set a Twisted Cat Outdoors 3-fish record.
What's up, everybody? I don't want that mic to block you there too much. Yeah, your computer going too.
I do.
It's Monday night, 7 o'clock, actually 7:03 in 23 seconds. So, Richard, if you're watching, we were on just in time. If you can hear us good, everything looks good, give us a thumbs up in the comments. Yeah. So yesterday we got to go out on the water for a little Sunday fun day trip and caught bait. I learned that Liz can throw a cast net better than most people, and she throws it left-handed. Right? Would you consider it left-handed?
Yeah. Well, what do you consider yours?
You throw it from your left.
Yeah. So I consider that left-handed.
I just consider that awkward.
And I'm right-handed. I don't do anything left-handed. So I don't know. I haven't tried again since I've mastered it left-handed. So I've not went back to it.
Yeah, we had some friends out there, the McGee's, and Travis was in his boat trying to throw a little 4-footer, and he was throwing perfect tacos. I mean, it closed together before it hit the water. But they had a carp jump on the boat, so that was good. But so yesterday we went up in pool 20. As you've seen, we just posted a Facebook reel of how the day went. You know, on the videos that we post, it makes it look so much easier and like the day was amazing. But, you know, you don't realize what you don't see. We should do a behind the scenes where we're excited. We take off. We go to the Warsaw boat ramp, which is like 2 miles from our house. Back the boat up, and I realized, you know, as Liz starts the boat, as we're backing in, the trailer like stops. And I'm like, oh no. So the city dredged the inside of like a marina, which is causing a bunch of silt on the outside and on the inside. So it literally shut us down, had mud up in the prop. It was a disaster. So then we had to drive about 20 minutes on the other side into Iowa to put in, which was just, yeah, it's always something. But anyways, we got out, we caught some bait, or she caught bait, and we did some fishing, caught one channel cat and a big gar, and didn't fish too long, then took a little boat ride because the mayflies, even during the day,
They're terrible.
were terrible. Anybody else ever dealt with mayflies?
I think they're worse.
Or is that just a thing on the Mississippi River, like around Iowa and Illinois? But I'll tell you what, during the day, at night, you can't even be outside.
That was so bad.
Yeah. So let us know if you've dealt with any mayflies before. They are really bad. It could be the worst year. We've never seen them this early, this bad. So I'm kind of scared of what it will be. So yeah, we had a little fun day yesterday, and then now we're gearing up for Pekin, Illinois, which is stop number 6 of the Twisted Cat Outdoors Trail. We tried to get points finished, but with practice and everything tonight, we just have not had a chance. And there you go. Cody's right there on the top. When are you going to update points? So tomorrow morning, first thing or later tonight, points will be done and finished. Something really important that you want to pay attention to that we've been talking about because we didn't really realize how we were going to do it yet. Which do we know now?
I don't know.
We're not 100% sure, but it's so they use snow plows to push mayflies off the bridges on the Mississippi. Yes, I've seen some of that.
I needed a plow.
Yeah, it was
so bad.
horrible. And then they were flying in your face, and you had them on your glasses.
Oh, every time.
That's middle of the day too, which is crazy.
Every time you got off, like out of your seat, you had dead ones on your back that you had smushed when you sat down.
So like I said, this will be stop 6. The points are going to get really interesting once we update them, and they'll be updated and posted tomorrow on the website and the Facebook page. And again, if you have any questions about this, I've had a ton of people text me, where's the captain's meeting? Where's this at? What's this? What's this? And I'm not being mean. I'm sending the whole page that shows everything from host hotel, weigh-in results, rules, because when I say that the captain's meeting is at the Pekin Boat Club, the next question is what time, and
We're
then
really
where's
trying
that
to
at?
utilize the website.
Yeah, we really want you to utilize the website, and it's super, super, super easy. No, you did not, Mr.
Same thing
Thomas.
like the live results and all that.
Yeah.
We'll always post that link, but
let's go ahead and bring in our special guest, and then we'll kind of bring the website stuff up and go through that. But again, if you have any questions on anything upcoming, past, present, future, all that stuff, definitely ask in the show. And let's bring the wild man, the one and only Mr. Tyler Sapp. How we doing?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good. Are you gearing up? Some of it just like calling to talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on a roll already this year.
Started off hot, and let's see if we can continue through Pekin.
We'll be updating the points, like I said, either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. But I'll tell you what it's going to be. That's so. Me and Liz were just talking about this. This year we made a rule change where you can have as many kids 12 and under in the boat. So what we didn't realize when we made that change is we didn't really come up with an idea on who all gets points and how that works. So we're still trying to figure out if everybody gets points or just 3 anglers. And then obviously the people, as long as they fish 3 events, you're still eligible as a partner, and you can still have the kids at the championship as long as they fish 3 events. But we just, since some of the boats have had 2-3 kids in the boat, we just don't want to go overboard on the points. So we're kind of dialing that in. But points are going to get pretty crazy after the Fort Madison tournament when we get those posted. Yeah, you're back and looking good. There you are. Can you hear us, Tyler?
Sorry. Nathan Blint's trying to call me. Tell him. Hang on.
He should be at bingo right now.
You already started something. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Blint should be at bingo right now. So I don't know. He's Monday night's bingo night for him. That's no joke.
No, that's true. But he's been bugging me. He said Monday I'm coming over. But I never heard from him. So maybe that means he's coming over in the morning or something. Who knows with that?
Well, he's probably trying to get his daughter out of school. I wonder if she's already out of school though.
I told him because I think Layla's coming too. It sounds like she wants to fish. He said she's getting out on Friday, so I said we should get together and do lunch or something. We'll let the girls run and do their thing.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. We've been having a lot more kids lately too, at these events and ladies. So we've been doing some youth awards. But again, points will be updated tomorrow morning on the website and the Facebook page. Did you guys hear that on the mic? That thunder? That was insane.
That rumbled.
Yeah. But everything else is dialed in for this weekend. I've got we're going to go over some post results. 2023 was the first, so this will be the 3rd year for Twisted Cat and Pekin. How did you do the first year, Tyler?
Terrible. We caught a limit of fish, but I don't think we quite made a little over 30 pounds, something like that. A little bit better than last year. I'm hoping for big things this year, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, so the first year
trying to get some bait.
Trying to catch some good bait. That's early to get good bait, though, isn't it?
I went for the live bait. I went and got some live bait.
Well, then. What? Oh, I kicked you out. All right, let me get it. Nope. So, the live bait. If you watched last week's podcast, that was some pretty good insight. Did you watch last week's podcast?
No, it's Monday night's usually my euchre night. So I set up.
Oh, that was
euchre
2
this
weeks. Was that 2 Monday nights ago? That was
With who?
with the winners.
Yeah, because last
2 Monday nights ago. Yeah. Anybody that really wants to get some good insight, better watch Yvonne. We did it live with Yvonne, and he gave some pretty good.
Yeah, Michael and Brennan, they like
almost too much
it.
info.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Hardcore.
I will tell you one thing. Them boys know how to catch some flatheads, and I will promise you that out of everybody on the Illinois River, they're one of the top 5 I know to consistently catch them on this river. They are awesome. They are really good, and they have really stepped it up in the last 5 years. And
what is your thoughts on what they've done the last? I mean, especially in the Twisted Cat series, a very, very tough series to go down to get invited to the championship. Never been below Alton. Go win a championship, and then they win Fort Madison. And Fort Madison is some pretty new water still overall for them guys.
First of all, you don't need the big boat to do anything, and those guys prove that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all about heart, is my honest feeling. You know.
And did you hear what he was telling me? Is like on our way down, we were reading like news articles about a chemical spill that was going to be on the Skunk River, and like just those little things show you like how serious those boys are. You know,
it can either help you eliminate water, or it can also help you find better water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. True.
So
if we go back to 2023, what was the weights?
2023.
I'm on my Facebook Live.
I believe there was a 47-pound flathead and a 43-pound flathead caught.
Can I go to those?
Yeah, go to my tournaments.
I believe Kenny Luttrell.
Click that.
That was
and archived. And then you see Pekin right there.
Pekin.
Here. And then go down. And then go up. Should be stats.
So we had 36 teams in 2023.
Go to tournament settings. And then here, exit out and go open website.
I can't remember if that was the first year you had it or the last year Fellows was here, but there were 2.
No, it was 23. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It was some good weights. I was pretty shocked.
And I think Doug Rice had like a cat, if I don't, memory serves me correct.
Well, did Nate Moore or Nate Blint won that tournament,
right? He won. Gosh, did he win or get second? I can't remember.
Sure. I'll tell you too. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let's see. Oh, Chiller Bait Tank. So that was the year that we had some blues. So Chiller Bait Tank, Kyle Johnson, Bobby Lee, they had 67-37. And then Blint had 50. Then Joe Ludke in third with 34. Mike Keel 32, 32, 31. And then it dropped. But that was a 36 boat tournament. And then last year, you have last year's stuff. Let's see. Last year I thought was some overall really good weights.
It was good weights.
Okay, last year's weights.
I think 30 on it, didn't it? You, Folletti.
30, yeah, Folletti had 35, 35.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember his weight.
But we just didn't have a lot of, so Big Fish was 2180, Dylan Lawson. And then Joe had a 1646 Channel Cat. And then Dan Altwell had a 1611. Total boats, 50 boats.
So
Look how close. Yeah, 35, Gary Folletti. Second place, Sean Kelly, 33-34. Joe Yvonne, 32-98. Randy Templeton, Yvonne.
So all the top 8 last year were really close, but the year before, a lot of weight between them.
Even JT Ray from Oklahoma had 30. He had 9th place.
Yeah.
That's a tough field right there.
That's the difference from, high regular pool, because the first year it was that regular pool, and last year, if you remember right, the dam was down, and I don't want to call it flooded. It wasn't by no means, but it was high water conditions for us.
Yeah. So what do you think with everything right now? What do you think weight's going to be similar to last year? You think we'll see some more flatheads, less flatheads?
Try to think how to put this. Yeah, I think
because the water's coming. It's on a rise, right?
Just a little bit. We haven't got water. You know what I mean? I sent Nathan a snap of the river when I went over it this morning for work, and he's like, "Damn, it looks low." And I'm like, "No, it's not low. It's at normal pool, maybe just a hair, above normal pool, but at least it's not low." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our dam is up, and I haven't checked it today, so I can't tell you the exact numbers on it. But last I know, Peoria guarantees foot for the pitches, and it was riding right at that.
So let's actually pull up. I'm going to pull up the website real quick. So we're just going to show everybody too. I know this is a tournament that's got, questions on places to fish, where you can.
Now's the time to ask any. I don't.
Yeah, now's definitely the time. But like I said, you got the website right here. You got Twisted Cat Outdoors 2025 tournaments down to Pekin. Click on Pekin, and then everything's right here. So this right here, once you click this link, it'll come to the previous points, which right now will be Fort Madison tomorrow morning. And this explains the points for the championship. But then every tournament's going to be the same. You go to that tournament, you got click here for registration, you got host hotel, you got click here for live results. So if you're on your way to the weigh-in, you want to see how the results are doing, click here and you're on there. Pekin, Illinois, May 24th. Entry fee, refunds, how all that works. And then rules. Captain's meeting, Friday, May 23rd, 5 to 7. Rules at 6 at the Pekin Boat Club. It has the address. Boat check and launch, same thing, 5 a.m. at the boat club. Boundaries. You are allowed to fish any waters you can reach by boat, but are not allowed to boat or fish below the Beardstown Bridge. So how far would you say Beardstown Bridge is from 60 miles?
Easy. It's, yeah. I'd say roughly.
There's also going to be on the boundaries. So that's the boundaries, but you also can't fish above and below the dam a certain feet. We'll have all that stuff. You just want to make sure you follow all the laws. If you think for a second that you have a question, if this is a place I can fish or not, just call me. Don't ask your buddy or assume, because we don't want to DQ anybody. And then tournament hours, pre-fishing, you got to be off the water by 6 p.m. on Friday. This is a 5-fish limit, 6 rods. So everything you need to know is right here on your rules, your registration, your host hotel, your live results, that page right there. So I just want to make sure you follow that.
Question that'll probably pop up, and I'm sure maybe somebody's already asked, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do just as you normally done it, or by boat number this tournament?
Fort Madison was just something unique that it's a brand new, huge marina that can get us all in there. So that worked out really, really well for us. We could do boat takeoff, national anthem. This tournament's a little different where we want to spread people out, get people below and above the dam where you can use the Pekin Boat Club or Coochie's. So once you get checked in, you can go. It'll be very fast. At 5 o'clock, we'll check the first boat just like we did last year and rock and roll. And then you can fish from 7 to 3 and then be back in that weighing line by 4:30. So very similar to pretty much exactly like last year if you fished last year.
I know that it sounds like a few members of the boat club are going to be fishing. I know they were, I believe, last year allowing people to use the boat club to launch. Are you allowing that this year? If that's what they're going to allow, is that something,
Where is that ramp
at? They have two, that's something that,
Yes, we did allow that last year. I think some people took their boats out there.
So
I don't have a problem if people use that either. They just got to as long as everybody's allowed to use that.
Yeah, it'll help with traffic too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Illinois dropped 2 inches on us in 7 hours last Saturday during our crappie tournament. Ouch. Well, I think so. Somebody told me that I think Logan at the boat club. I talked to him today. Told me that it was coming up. Is that right?
I cannot do the internet thing. Why don't you have Liz on the internet and click on type in reservoir and click on the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's what I go by, and it'll tell you what Peoria and Havana or Beardstown is.
So let's see. So Illinois River at Peoria. I'll actually just share this screen. That thing looks like it ain't doing much. Look at that bad boy.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I can't zoom in. What's that saying? Right at 12 foot?
Yeah, so it's saying it's 11.82 right now by the tournament. I mean, literally it's gonna be level. I mean, you're not gonna have any of this crazy stuff dropping. I mean, you're talking. That's
no.
Wow.
11.8.
And they will try to hold that for barge traffic reasons. You know what I mean? Try to hold 12 foot in the center of the channels for barges to still be able to traffic up and down.
Yeah, no, that Mike said water temp Sunday was 75.5, so I'll tell you what, we've seen some big channel cats though getting weighed. I mean, last year a 16-pounder. That's a stud.
I know that the day you had Fort Madison, they also had one out of Lakin, that Illinois Sunday River Series. And they had a 17-pounder weighed, and I believe 16 or 17, and then somebody also had a 15 or 16 and got beat out. How crazy is that? To catch a 16-pound channel cat and then get beat out,
Wow. Well, we're like I said, we're super excited, man. I remember I was just talking to Liz about when we went up there and met with your dad, and the city. And then the night that we all went and ate at, what was that restaurant downtown?
I don't know, but I can see the inside. It's got 3 different rooms. It's got the front room, and then you can go.
Yeah, and it was super hot, too.
Rail House?
And then it rained on us on Saturday. Yeah, Rail House. Because I met you when I was driving the truck, and we ate lunch there one day. Yeah, so the Rail House. But, yeah, so the Pekin Boat Club will have food Friday night, and I can't remember what that was, but it was good. Remember the line for it?
Oh, yeah.
So they'll have food Friday night. We'll do a Calcutta, and then also they'll have a band. And then Saturday they'll have food, too, for the event, which last year was super hot, too.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what, it's not been hot. It's not going to be hot.
So I think right after the weigh-in, we're going to spread Dad's ashes.
Yes. So we'll definitely be doing that. I think, like I said, I talked to Tom right before I got on here, and Tom said the weather looks. Liz said rain. Tom said no rain.
I'll listen to Tom.
I'm gonna listen to Tom
for multiple reasons.
So yeah, no, it is going to be a lot cooler though. I just remember last year was super hot.
Yeah.
And the water, it was kind of muggy because the water was dropping fast, and then the water was in the lot, in that parking lot, like a few days before. So it's kind of like that muddy rock. But no, Logan said he's pretty excited, and because he's the new president, which I've worked with him quite a bit the last couple of years. So, and then we're also working on a plaque that we're going to put in the boat club with your dad on the top, and then each year's winner that Nate Moore will like etch in. So like in 23, 24, 25, and so on, we'll have the winners and their weights that they're going to hang in the boat club. So pretty excited about that. Yeah. Yeah, we a big shout out to the boat club also for helping everything that they do from, they don't have to do any of this. You know what I mean? The love they had for your dad and just, wanting to see the sport grow. That's what it's about. And, them helping us do that. Because like I said, it's a big deal to go into a boat club with an outside event like what we are, to have an event, use their facilities. But a lot of the anglers and their families give back, and they're eating there, they're drinking there, they're hanging out there. And we had a heck of a crowd last year. I mean, that whole top floor was people were watching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the balcony was full, and yeah, it worked really well.
So if you got fish, bring them in. Everybody be proud of what you caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, it doesn't matter. Was it this year? One of these years we had a tournament where people were throwing their fish back, and they would have been in the top 10. You just thought it was a bad day. Well, everybody had a bad day that day. So, yeah, always, even if you don't catch a fish and you want to come to the weigh-in, you are more than welcome to come through the weigh-in line. And we'll introduce you where you're from, what you did. And you know what? Everybody has those days. Don't they, Tyler? Just a rough day.
That's right. That's why they call it fishing and not catching, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday was almost like that.
Yeah.
So right now, what are your best two finishes right now?
Well, trying to think. We didn't in Alton, so we only really got the Winter Blues weigh-in and Fort Madison so far.
I got a third in Fort Madison.
But you got third in Fort Madison. That's huge.
Huge. And I think if I can, we're shooting for one more top 10 because we think that'll help solidify the championship, help get us into it. So,
like I said, it'll be interesting to see the points tomorrow, and very interesting the next Monday. You know what I mean? We've still got quite a few events left, obviously, but the goal is to get as many events as we can, people the opportunity, especially people that can't. I mean, if you got to travel a lot, but we've spread out. We went to Texas, Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, all the way down to Mississippi, up to Mississippi. So,
and we're going to Louisiana this year. Hopefully,
and we're going. Yeah, we are. Like I said, we are so super excited. If you're watching tonight and you didn't know or you haven't heard yet that Morgan City, Louisiana is the championship. It's a 2-day championship, Friday, Saturday, and it's. I talked to somebody today about it, and I said the best way I can describe that place is it's the best. It's like the fishing capital of the world for some people like us that, didn't even know what a bull red was and accidentally catching 45-inch bull reds, and then 65-pound blues. I mean, it's just that's where her PB came from. So, and it's unique where it's a river. It's got tide on both sides, and it's got the lake. So there's different lakes. There's so many different ways to target it. So that's why this championship, invite the best of the best, is going to really kind of dial that place in. But it's a beautiful little town. The town's kind of on an island almost. So it's a cool thing. And that town right there is where, what is it, Swamp People or?
Yeah,
like Troy Laundry and Stale Cracker, all those, that whole crew is in that right there. Like literally right there. So super cool place. We're really excited about that. And hopefully that everybody that wants to make it can make it. And I like I've said the last couple of years is it's getting tougher to make the championship each year for sure. 4 years ago, I'd say it was kind of a participation deal, but I don't personally like a participation, invite. I think that it's fun when you have to be competitive and have to compete to get in. So it feels good. I from what we've seen, it feels good to make it to the championship. So JT says he already needs host hotel info for the championship. Mm-hmm. JT, I don't know the way you've been fishing. I don't know that you're gonna need that yet. How's he been doing?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Come with me.
Oh yeah, JT, you go with Tyler. Yeah, JT, I don't know. JT was on a roll last year. Well, he was the points. He won the points angler of the year. He was AOI.
Dude is good, man. Real.
And that's what's cool is it's a trail that brings people from all over. I mean, you've got now some guys in Kansas. Craig Norris is leading the pack, and he's got 2 awesome finishes. He is a stud. You got JT Ray in Oklahoma and his crew, and Lance Ludke, and then you got the Texas guys. Then you got Missouri. I mean, then you got the Illinois. I mean, it's kind of from all over. So it's anybody's game, but it's not everybody. Not everybody can get in. So it'll be interesting. I know I've been messing with Brian and Coy with Dragon Master, telling them they could, if they don't make it, they say they're going to come help run the event. So we'll see how that works out. But you, like I said, you got Fort Madison, Pekin, and Burlington. So you got 3. I kind of say your backyard, but I mean,
they're within an
hour. Yeah. But they all fish different, especially different times of year, from Fort Madison to Burlington being April to September or May to September, and then Pekin end of May. And then while you might have a good finish this weekend, there's a lot of changes going to happen outside of this area. When you go down to Perryville, Savannah, New Madrid. Old Crow said that he's qualified already. You got to get your boat out of the garage to qualify, Old Crow.
That dip net probably got holes in it.
Oh, I guarantee it. Chris, we're glad that you're back with us. We know you were in the hospital fighting a bug. What's up, Chaos Diver?
Oh, I see you, Roxy.
But yeah, no, it's like I said, and that's what's cool is somebody could start fishing in August and make the championship.
Well, that would be a cool thing to know, from last year, because it seemed like the last 3 tournaments last year, people come out of the woodworks, and we kind of all talked about it, but you really saw it happen last year.
Yes, last year was really. I mean, Nate Moore was one of them. I think he was in 42nd. Didn't fish the last tournament and got kicked out.
Like 50.
Yeah, to 50 something.
51.
52nd or somebody,
yeah.
How didn't they make it? They were just on the outside edge.
And I think that'll happen even more this year now with, there's just more anglers fishing it and more chasing it. And it's just, how you do. I mean, one bad finish, can hurt you bad. I don't know what the average was. If it was if it was a 20 average, I don't know. It changed a lot. The top changed a lot. So, I mean, somebody's been messing with Aaron Jarrell. He's already asking about points. I said, I thought you weren't chasing points this year. You weren't going to make the championship. He says, I'm making the championship. And I said, bet. So I think we'll see him this weekend in Pekin.
But that's changed since the Sea Arc Invitational. Because sitting back porch, I ain't not worried about it this year.
You know how this is what I see. People that say that are
they're pulling your leg.
Well, they're pulling your leg, or they don't think they can make it, so they just say, "Well, we're not gonna try." Yeah, I'm not gonna try. You know what I mean?
Let's be real. The dude's a hell of a fisherman. So I mean, he puts his mind to it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but he's got it. Like I said, again, it's 4. You got to have 4 decent finishes, and one bad finish. You take Brian and Coy, and I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but we went to Texas in their backyard, and they got, I think, high 30s. They got like 38th place. That's not going to help them get in. Uh-oh.
He heard his ears were burning.
He's been on a roll with doing the guiding down in St. Louis too. Man, he's been catching some giants down there.
They have a pig just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Something?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats, Aaron. That's awesome. It's cool to see Aaron do so well last year competing, then getting his guide license and really try to step into the fishing world full time and still fish some tournaments and be relevant in this world and in that world is pretty interesting and cool. So you're starting to see a lot more people turn fishing from a hobby to a living in a lot of different ways, whether it's social media marketing, companies, any of that stuff. So that's pretty interesting to see too.
Have you moved in there before long? Or move her in there. Have a good one.
Old Crow, do you have an extra bourbon tonight? Yeah, Old Crow says I have to get busy. We got Donald Moore, the king of landing nets.
Hey, how's this boy doing? How's old Drake doing? He broke his foot or something, didn't he?
Yeah, got some knee.
Fractured
his knee on his bike.
Yeah. Is he going to make Pekin?
I think so, but maybe get stitches out next Wednesday is what Donald was saying. It looked pretty rough. Like he must have been doing like one of those like no hands or something and hit a.
Not for the girls is what he is doing.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah, I think I've done one of the no hands and I hit a rock or hit a pothole and I went flying one way, the bike went the other way.
He was like Rhett. He was flinging the money at the women when he got home with all that cash, for Fort Madison.
Yeah.
He said Staples come out Wednesday. He will be there, and he said electric scooter. I was like, that's even more dangerous.
A kid's on fire.
I've been seeing a lot of kids on them scooters, and they're flying.
Well, it's good to see you're going to make it, Drake. Cool.
Yeah, we'll have a youth award this weekend too, and then we'll also be doing the Calcutta. So we did a we only do Calcuttas at certain events. It's like some of them that even have maybe bigger boat numbers. You'd think that you could have a big Calcutta, but I don't know. It's like these Illinois boys up here, they're used to Calcuttas. You talking, how much do we have in Fort Madison?
2730, I think, if I'm numbering right.
Yeah, so just under $3,000 in Fort Madison.
2370 was one of those.
Rhett won 1,800.
I gotta go sweet talk to Tom, try to get his money back.
So what else? So Pekin will be good. I don't remember how much we had last year in Pekin.
Oh, I believe it was 1,900 or 21 or something like that. It was just right around $2,000, I believe.
Yeah. It was pretty good. But who won that?
The dude
last year.
Remember, it was Gary Folletti won it with $20. He bought himself a $20.
He bought himself. He got a lot of money last year.
Yeah, because he got.
It was like, I don't remember because he used to start them at $5, but maybe started that one at $5 last year. Whatever the minimum was last year, he bid and won it, big.
Yeah. Yeah, old Gary. I'll tell you what, I thought we'd see him in Fort Madison, but he must have fished that Lakin tournament.
They got
Yeah, I do remember the one now because they were on like the opposite side of the weigh-in, like where those trucks. Yeah, I remember they were sitting on that like concrete thing, and I had to call them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary was on a roll last year too.
All I can say is don't count anybody out on this tournament because fish are going to be caught, and it's just who's going to catch that right fish.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like Fort Madison, everybody's going to catch fish and have fished away, and it's going to be a real good time. I hope to see a lot of people show up.
Yeah, so in registration, you can still register tonight. It goes to $340 online, or it's $325 cash Friday night at the boat club or Saturday morning. So you can still register Saturday morning when you come through. Friday night, like I said, you have questions, give us a call. But definitely try to go to the website first and check everything is on that website. And Kathy is also excited to see everybody there this weekend. And like I said, it's weather's looking good. Bring an appetite. The boat club is ready for us. Gonna be good. I think right now we're like right at 20 boats that are registered. Let's see. Landon says, is 18 the cutoff for the youth prize? What's our cutoff for the youth prize?
15.
15.
15 and younger.
15 and younger is youth. And then if you're 12 and younger, anybody 12 and under can be added to the boat. That does not count as that third person.
And 16 and over is adult.
16 and over is adult. We had to think a lot on that 12 and 16 and all that because, you know, years ago, I'm sure you remember, Tyler, when Hayden Gunther was fishing, he was good enough as a lot of the adults. So, you know, there was.
You can do a lot of work if you've just been grown in that, you know, lifestyle.
And it helps. It just helps when you have that extra person in the boat. You know what I mean? Especially if they know what they're doing. So
exactly. At
that time, we were only doing two in a boat. Mm-hmm. But then Hayden was the third because he was considered a youth. But at 12, I've got videos of him bumping for catfish at 12. I mean, that's that. So it just became, and they were doing really, really well. So we made it 3 anyways, and then went to added the youth. And that's a lot of people have been doing that this year. I know you had extra people in the boat at Fort Madison, and then Adam Hart had more. They had 4 people in the boat, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I almost kind of feel bad. Like, you know, I know that kids want to go and rules are rules. And I've turned a lot of people down over the years. I've had a lot of calls and say, hey, you know, we don't have a babysitter. Can we bring, you know, we've got 2 10-year-olds or whatever. I'm like, you can't. I understand it doesn't matter, but it's rules. So, you know, just this year, changing it, we've already seen that change.
We've seen more youth in the sport and enjoying it and showing up at their second, third event.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, thinking back to the tournaments that we fished, Rhett carried his trophy around everywhere, to dinner, to the bed. He fell asleep with it, everything.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that opened our eyes too.
Yeah, after he got that youth award, like when he learned there was a youth award and there was a couple other kids, all he cared about all day is, do you think that I'll get that trophy? Do you think that we'll have at least the youth award? And I'm at this point, I'm like, we had a rough day. I don't know that we'll be like even in the top 40. And then we ended up, what did we get? I forgot.
4th.
We got 4th place,
and
he got top youth. And that plaque was the most important thing I've seen him win in a long time. I mean, he literally taken to school. I mean, everywhere, showing people. I think he took it to dinner to the Mexican that night.
Yeah, he
literally took it to dinner
and sent
pictures on yeah, it was crazy. So after seeing that in person, that's what we want. We want those kids to get involved because now Rhett wants to fish. He's like, I want to go do another tournament, and that's what it's about, you know.
Yeah, that was my youngest. He's 9. That was his first ever time to a tournament, and he had a ball. I think you guys come by us at 10 or 11. You know, we were all like, "Who is that? Why are they just slowing down? What are they doing?" And oh, okay, I see. And they're already done. That current flat wore them out after about 2 or 3 fish, and they couldn't reel no more.
Yeah, we got to watch you guys catch a fish.
Yeah.
Not very often do we get to go out, you know, take a boat out and kind of get some media. That was really cool that day, being able to go out, you know, and take Tom and Cody, get some pictures on the water, get some video on the water, and then catching you guys. Was that a fish that you guys actually weighed?
That was our 5th biggest fish that we weighed.
So we got to watch you guys catch that fish. And I don't know, like, what did you think the whole time? Did you think that we were like a tournament boat, or did you know it was us?
No, we had no clue because you guys stopped way down below us, probably like 400 yards, and I thought you guys were scanning up to us, and then he hooked up to that fish, and I was like, oh no, because you know the story of hooking up to a fish when a boat's coming alongside you, they're gonna come anchor up alongside you, and so my heart just sank, woo, you know. And then I look over and I saw Liz, and that was like the best feeling in the world, like. It's okay. We're good.
Well, you had to probably see Tom had like a 800 millimeter lens, and then Cody had a pretty big lens. So yeah, Tom and Cody were doing some, and they got some really cool pictures.
Cool. I hope to get some of them sometime because, like I said, it was cool just to have my daughter and my son in the boat at the same time and let them experience it, and they had a blast.
Yeah. No, it was super fun. Really excited to be able to do that. Yeah, that was a good event. So kind of going back to Fort Madison for your team, what was your strategy to get that top place that you guys got? I mean, did you spend a couple days there? Did you know what you were looking for? Like, because there was a lot of changes going on there, especially with like the cold front. What did you guys do?
I'm not going to lie. We didn't do a single day of pre-fishing, and I'm not going to this year in dedication to my father.
Thank you. Your dad, that's every time me and your dad talk, it's, hey, he says, Tyler's probably damn pre-fishing right now. I said, it's 5 days before the tournament. And then you might catch it. Remember the tournament you caught a good one? Like 3 or 4 days out?
Oh, yeah.
Me and your dad laughed about that. They said, that was stupid.
No, I'm not doing that this year. We just showed up and we had a good time on Saturday. We grilled out and had some s'mores with the kids, and just let them play and make the best of it. And we knew with the cold front, the fish were kind of going to be finicky. We thought on Saturday anyway, so we went into it thinking, we wanted to find some structure, shallow water adjacent, just to some deep water. So that way when they were ready to move up with the sun coming up during the day, you could position yourself on them both ways. Unfortunately, them fish never moved up all day. We stayed in 23 to 27 foot of water and just played the smackdown on them.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, in last year, you did a lot of pre-fishing. You know what I mean? Which that's taking time off of work. That's stress. That's, more hotel stuff. But again, I think I had a phone call today from an angler. I think we lost him hopefully he comes back. Can you hear us still? Hopefully he didn't get struck by lightning. We're getting lightning outside.
That's us. I don't think.
Anybody in the chat hearing the thunder storm that we're having right now? She's gonna bite you.
Sword rabbit.
So while he's jumping back on, I had a guy call today just talking about, there you are. Can you hear me?
No.
What happened? Clint called yet?
She's calling about dinner. What do you want for dinner? I ain't got time for dinner. I'm talking to Alex and Liz.
So I was saying that, the pre-fishing thing, I had a guy today call, and he's huge into like coyote hunting and tournaments and stuff like that. But he's been really intrigued with this catfish stuff, and he's close to all of it. He's like, hey, what does it take to get into it? Tell me about, like, do I need to have like 5 or 10 days of pre-fishing and all this? And I'm like, I do better like just going like the day before, or just kind of knowing. The problem is, like, when you go 3 to 5 days or 7 days, like the weekend before is going to be 100% different than 7 days later. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to adapt. So just as a tournament director, I think what's helped me as an angler is I've seen for so many years, I get to hear like what you did on Wednesday. You found them and they were on the rock ledge. They were on the rock to mud. They were in deep water. Wednesday you caught them. You caught your PB. You caught all these nice fish. And then you leave that area because they're there. Like, you know what I mean? You might go back and scan them and maybe see some. But now you go back Saturday and you fish that spot for 3-4 hours in the morning. It's 10, 11 o'clock. you've maybe got one fish or no fish and it's been rough and they're gone. Like, can you adapt and change and go to some, like, where did those fish go? They didn't go far. Where did they go? And so many people I have seen, it messes their day up. They say, you know, we're done. And we'll have those people at noon come by us as we're setting up and say, hey, they weren't there today. And then they go home. So, like, it's the people that can adapt. And I think even if you show up on Saturday morning or Friday night, go to the captain's meeting, hang out, have some good food, get the Calcutta, and then go in Saturday morning with a fresh mind and be able to change, like, hey, this shallow water's not working. Maybe they're still deep, or this isn't going, you know. I think those are the anglers you got to be, you know, careful for. The anglers that can catch them from noon to 3. You know, that's a really good angler.
I agree.
And you did a ton of
thing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because there a lot of people come in and they're like, oh, I caught them, you know, first couple hours of the morning or first 20 minutes, or, you know, we caught them the last 2 to 3 o'clock, or, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, it's tough to stay on them all day. So that's been my main goal these last 2 years, is trying to figure out what you got to do all day to consistently keep putting fish in the boat.
Yeah. It's still, though, it blows my mind how many people will be in the weigh-in line at 2 to 2:30, because there's so much. I mean, you can fish till 3. You don't have to be in the weigh-in line till 4:30, and usually the weigh-in's done by 4:30. But it's like, I mean, we had boats quit an hour. I mean, you can see them; they're loading an hour before fishing time's over, and so many tournaments have been won in the last hour. I mean, one bite can change everything, literally.
Yeah, but you know, some of them people, they don't want to deal with the line, which you can't blame them, because they might not have an adequate live well to provide oxygen in the weigh-in line. So that part of them says, you know, we need to get there and weigh as fish.
It's not those people. It's not necessarily those people. It's people that I'm saying the people that give up and just, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I mean, we got people that quit at noon. They ain't caught a fish and they leave at noon. That's early. You know.
I always tell Mike, you're always one bite away. Check. It may only be a big fish check, but you're only one bite away all day from cashing a check.
That sounds like a song.
Yeah, we got to make a song out of that.
You're only one
bite away.
Bite away.
Yeah. Get the drum roll, Tyler.
Give me the mic this weekend.
Yeah,
right?
that's you've already got her singing Journey in the national anthem. Now she's gonna be making up her own songs. Speaking of songs, we got to find that catfish song, Catfishing America.
Yeah.
You know that song, right? From like 15 years ago.
Oh,
you sing it.
Oh, I'd have to look that one
Catfishing America.
I'd have to look it up.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
So you're gonna break it out for us Friday night? Then you're saying on the PA?
I'll break it out Friday night.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay,
no, I'm not gonna sing it, but I'll play.
But you already said it on live.
Sing it, Alex.
All right, here's Donald. He says that's absolutely crazy to stop early lock can happen in 15 minutes. Yeah. Just that, I'd like to have the fish that Donald's lost netting out of weigh-in once. Have you ever heard the stories about Donald landing using a landing net, Tyler?
You probably don't want to.
Imagine if you blindfolded yourself and tied one hand behind your back. You only had one arm to net a fish, and you didn't even know where the fish was. That's just what I've heard. I don't know. I have seen him net a fish. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but that is just what I've heard.
Oh man.
I never give up. I fish till the end, and I haven't caught a fish all day. Hey, Greg, don't give up. If you look at his picture there, that's why they call him the Flatty Daddy. We were half tempted to take that off. Bo Brady's got a Flatty Daddy license plate. We were trying to get it to take it off his truck and put it on Greg's at Fort Madison. Yeah, here is what I'm talking about. They quit at noon, cold, wet, no chance of a check. Got a hot shower, a good meal. I mean, these guys literally got a hot shower, went to lunch, took a nap, and then went to the weigh-in. So, I mean, imagine what you could have done in that amount of time. A lot. Oh, Aaron, who?
So I know last year, let's see, what time would it have been? 2:44 was the lucky time last year. Last year we put at Iowa the 20-some pound flathead in the boat at 2:44, which was the last 16 minutes. And we did it. I'd have to ask Bo where the other time was, but we joked about it all season. You got to fish. I mean, literally last 16 minutes of the tournament, and you have your, your two best bites.
Yeah. No, that's true. Tom's already doing AI. Sunrise creeping over the muddy bend. Another Saturday. Gonna try again. 100 boats are lined up. Engines all a hum dreaming of that big one. Hearing that reel come. Got my stink bait ready. Lines cast out and deep popping for a monster. Secrets that
Hoping for a monster.
Secrets that the river keep leaders tied just right. Which I've seen some of your guys as leaders.
Is sharp and keen. This ain't just a fishing trip. This is a catfish queen or king. One
more bite. That's all it's gonna take.
I can't get the tune of that.
Shimmer. The trophy's for. Oh my! Speaking of that, we got to talk about some of these knots. I know why some. I thought you guys were always hiding your rigs when you come through the weighing line because you didn't want anybody to see like your whatever little thing. No, it's the knots. Now I know why I always hear these stories of the fish that came off, broke my line, got away, never seen. It's because of the knots. And I want to have Tom start taking some pictures.
Not supposed to tie it like your shoe?
Oh my, I tell you what.
Double knot.
When a boat comes through and I can literally undo their knot with my glove on, that's a problem.
Hey,
but it's always the big one that got away.
Ask Tom if he's got my back. Just like Fort Madison. No, I'll come for first this time.
He's on here.
Tom, you gonna buy me?
You just, the thing that you got to know too is there's the flathead. Somebody could catch, or that stud channel cat. Tom says in a buyer.
Thanks, Tom.
Watch out for Red. Behind you, Tom. He'll be bidding.
Red is already asking on how much money he can bid on.
Is. He's dangerous.
I'm with you, Sean. Smart man. Oh, yeah. That's like gold right there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
Who do you think is going to go for the most money this weekend?
Me. I'm going for broke. Me and Bo is all in.
I don't even think I'll be able to crack a smile out of Bo Saturday morning.
No, because
he'd be so serious. He might even have. I want to see him with the black eye paint.
All right, we can line that up.
Oh my, Aaron! I bet my knots against any catfish. Yeah. Do you crimp or do you tie all yours knots? Do you already do any crimping?
So, I hate tying anything above 60 pound. I don't think I like to crimp anything over 60, and I will tie anything under 60.
With that.
Now, you give me your opinion, because old Charles Blair was just riding me at the arc. No. What's your thoughts? crimping to the demon dragons and stuff. You know, he was riding me about it. I don't like to crimp because I feel like them pegs can pull out. That just me being too
You
anal, or
absolutely. I mean, I don't think that they'll ever pull out, but I mean, why? Here's the deal: is why even make 2 extra points that could break or have an issue? Not that I've had any issues with the crimping, but like a couple reasons. Number one is it's easier to run your line through, and then at the front of the back of the eye, I just run it through twice, where it'll stay there. So if I want to move it closer, if I want to move it further away, depending on how I want to float that bait, I can do that. I mean, look at the only fish we caught this weekend was on a Livingston lure, and it was close to the hook, but we were in some pretty good current. It was on a short leader, and I did a reel just a couple days ago showing like one of our main rigs, and it showed the crimp. I need to do more of an in-depth one, but that's just how we do it. We've been very successful. Even it's caught us those bull reds, and they destroy. We lost a couple lures.
Well, we didn't use the lead leader line down there, but that's why we didn't catch some of them. But
I'm talking about on the reds that they were swallowing the lures.
oh, I thought you said the
the reds were like, there were sometimes you had to cut everything because they would swallow the hook and the lure. I mean, they were just, it was unbelievable. But no, that's 100%. I crimp everything, depending, and then I won't crimp my dropper. Sometimes I've been running a dropper instead of like a sinker slide, depending on the situation too, just to get that bait a different presentation. I mean, we do a lot of people, and I've learned this. You have people that right now have 100 pre-tied rigs, all the same, 100 of them. And then you've got people like me that say I'm going to have 100 one of these days, and I'm ready. I got like the bag and everything for it, but I don't, because I'm switching things up so much. Like I don't want to have, like this weekend, the 6 rods we had, every rig was almost different in some way, whether it was a sinker slide or a sinker slide with a longer leader, the ball chain to the hook shorter. And then like we've been in so many situations where we've learned what's working and what's not better. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, but I find myself, even though I fill that up, I'm just like you. It's like, oh, well, that leader isn't long enough, or that leader's too long. That's not what I'm looking for. So in the end, I still got a bag full of rigs tied that most of them I don't even touch. You know what I mean? Because it's,
I do some funky stuff. I mean, really the only, catfishing has changed a lot over the years, where you got a lot of, I guess I'll call it jewelry, like the chunky rigs. Like, have you seen a chunky rig lately? There's like, they got like 10 of the rattles, and then a lure, and then like the hooks painted like glow in the dark. I maybe that works, maybe it don't, I don't know. But I do like, the Livingston lures, they're making, when that water comes in contact at those 3 points, it's making a noise. It's making a croaker sound or a shad sound. And I think that noise enough can entice a strike bite. And, we don't really add anything besides that. We just change our, where that lure is, maybe how high it is off the, surface. Because if we're using 2D, we might notice that those fish are a little bit more suspended than really sucked down to the bottom. And I have noticed, a major difference on rigs, even bumping or dragging, where, using a Dragon Master rig, keeping, like I'm doing 2 rigs, one on the front, like I call it the JT Ray, because that's where I learned it from. I'll keep a real short one on the front to keep it low. And then my back off my Dragon Master, I might have 2 feet, 3 feet with a float, and it's way up there. And you can tell, even when I'm going over those fish, that there's some fish up in the water column, and those are the ones that you're catching. So again, that's just what I've learned, what works for me. But I'll still always say I'll have plenty of rigs tomorrow, but I never do. I probably got 3 in my bag, but I'll be able to time on the fly.
and just like dragon weights. So like, and we haven't told anybody that down at Sea Arc this year, our fish shallow and in grass. But so it was hard to drag and keep all the grass off your bait and your line, right? So we found that using them 30 South Dragon weights, which are the real long ones,
Yep.
the grass was not tall enough. So we were getting our bait just above the grass line with that tall of a weight, rather than the Dragon Master going right through it.
Yep.
So that
a different scenario, a different, and that's what you got to be able to pay attention to and be able to change or adapt when you didn't pre-fish, and then, or whether you pre-fished or not, and then by Saturday morning they open up a bunch of gates and you got grass. So now everything you did the last 7 days or 2 days or 12 hours is, you might as well throw it away and start new. And if you can adapt to that and learn, hey, there's grass, these fish have come off the bottom, a cold fronts came in and really pushed them deep and they're in the mud and you can barely see them on the 2D, so you got to turn your sensitivity up. Like, those are all the small things, those minor adjustments that can, make or break you. So, and there's so much each year, you learn so many different new things that you didn't know, or, just like the flathead. There was a guy catching flatheads off the rocks at the Pekin Boat Club during the tournament. He was a tournament angler and he was using bobbers, just like floating down with some bobbers. I'm like, what is that guy doing? Because he was drifting, but I'm talking like, what do you see, like 0.1 or 2, like he was barely moving, but he was catching flatheads right there in front of us. We watched, I think we got video of him catching flatheads. I've never done that, but I know that's a technique. Yeah. So those are the small things. If you can, I think you got to almost be able to be ready to tie something new on the water. And like I said, I have certain bags now that it's just literally all my tying stuff. And that's why I show that handy stuff where I can do it quickly.
What about fishing with somebody new? Do you like to fish with people?
That's a loaded question. So I'm pretty particular. Like, I do best with people like Liz, like me and her. We've done really well together. When you bring in a new person, and this is what years ago, I used to take a lot of like friends out from school or whatever. And the problem I think that I had is when you go out and you want to do really good, it's like I'm kind of guiding for a buddy. Like, he's been watching me. He's like, man, I want to catch one of these big fish you caught. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, let's go out some nights. So you go out and you don't catch anything the first 2 hours. So that spot's good. Maybe you need to move a little bit, but like you want, like in your head, I'm like, I got to do something. So you're making stupid moves instead of going with your gut, like sticking it out or making, little changes. I think that's what hurt, like fishing with Liz, even like when we fished with Benji in Kansas, like just sticking to a game plan and like just knowing each other. Like, she knows, well, I'm always getting the net, because if you've ever seen her get up off the chair, if a rod gets touched, she's already standing at that rod like that quick. So I just know I'm the net man, but you just have that, like, she knows that when we get to the boat ramp, she gets in the boat, drives the boat. I do the plug, get everything off the boat. And it's just like that. Like, that is tough with a new person, especially in a tournament. I think that's tough. And I think if you look at results in Twisted Cat the last 12 years, what do you see? Anglers that stay together, that have a good, consistent partner, are some of the best in the game.
Well, I guess I didn't really make that clear. I meant like just going out and fishing with others for fun. Like, I like to go with a lot of other people, and they be a tournament angler, but I like picking people's brains and seeing what they do and creating my own style of fishing. And I've learned a lot of techniques could be Joe Blow off the street, that learned something from his granddad fishing in 72, but take a little bit and tweak it every time and make your own style. You can eventually put something together.
I think anytime you go out and fish by yourself, that's almost crazy. Like, anytime that I can go, I remember when I first got into this, I did a big show with Kyle Johnson where I was doing some angler spotlights. I don't know if you remember those. So I got to go with Kyle and like learn. That's where I learned. I guess I can go ahead and, that's how I learned the bump, like what to look for. And he was showing me, like, we were running a down the bank, looking at wood structures, marking them here and there, looking for fish. And then we were bumping, instead of just like most people that just bump a rock ledge or just bump straight down the channel or whatever, like I'm now bumping. There's something behind what I'm doing. I'm not just like bumping for ghosts, as I call it. You know what I mean? There's a reason for everything that I'm doing. And that's what I learned from him. And then a old guy that I got to go with, I always use sinker slides. Well, he showed me this little dropper and why he does it. And it makes total sense. Like in some of this current, we did like test on my rig and his rig. And then my bait came back muddy. And it was just like, it made sense. So little things here and there, every time you go out with somebody, pay attention. If somebody's, I like anybody want to take me out, I'd love to go. Cause like I said, I think I've learned at least one thing from every person I've went out fishing with.
What did you learn from me?
That I'm not fast enough to get to the rod.
I like to see how people cut bait. I like to see how they tie their rigs on. I like to see,
Oh my, yeah. There was one year that the whole year, that's all we talked about is how to cut your bait. Like people were dead serious. There's some anglers out there that they won't let anybody else cut their bait. I'm like,
100%.
I mean, it's crazy. And I'm like, I'm not too crazy about the bait. I think, especially after the chicken thing, which we're going to do that again this summer. Me and her I caught fresh moon eye. I had live moon eye in my live well, and she used chicken breast. We got it Hy-Vee. It cost us like $7 in no time. And then it cost me probably 45 minutes to get enough moon eye to fish, which is a pain in the butt. And she got like 7 to my 2. And one of mine was a little channel cat on chicken. And I was making fun of people. I made fun of Kirk Lucky. I thought he was joking, and he uses his biggest fish is 94 pounds on chicken. What are your thoughts on chicken?
I'd be willing to try it. I've never tried it.
Dude, yeah.
Mike,
I think it's worth.
I think Mike's told me about 6 times in the last year he's bringing chicken and ain't brought it yet. So we haven't put it to the test yet.
I'd like to. Steve Henderson keeps telling me we need to do a chicken tournament. And it would be interesting just to see if you had, let's say, 20, 30 boats go out with just chicken, how everybody did. Like if it was still a decent weigh-in. Like I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. What the heck, And
there's a lot more people that use chicken, honestly. Now I don't get into the hot dogs like soaked in Kool-Aid or none of that.
That's too much time.
That's crazy. But the chicken, we didn't have chicken. This would have been an issue. Huh?
You're using marshmallows at Fort Madison.
I heard you say it. Are you messing with me?
No.
You were using marshmallows.
Yeah. You ain't ever tried it?
I don't believe that you caught your fish on marshmallows.
You cut out. Say that again.
I don't believe that you caught your fish on marshmallows.
Not all of them. No, we had shad too, but we didn't have a whole lot of bait. I spent Friday probably 6 hours up to my waist in water throwing a net trying to get enough shad to fish with.
You should have used a rod and reel and caught crappie in the marina.
I didn't know that was legal. But I tell you what, I did know was legal was when we went to the dollar store and the kids said that they wanted s'mores, that we had a plate of marshmallows left over.
I've never heard the marshmallow thing.
Try one sometime.
You mean like eat one, or I've ate marshmallow and it's not. How does it stay on a hook?
Easy. It actually stays on good. I don't use the whole ball because they can pull it right off if you just use small chunks.
We'll be buying marshmallows. Hopefully they make more of the hooks than my mouth.
Yeah, I wonder if you can do marshmallows and chicken on the same hook. What would that do?
Don't get the big one. Don't get them ones. Get them ones.
Okay. So Ken says that you should only use chicken this weekend.
Give it a shot.
I don't
He's
think
the
it'll
man
hurt.
right there. He's the flathead man right there. Him and Brian brought the flathead I've seen on the Illinois River in the tournament.
It'll be interesting. I thought we would
You'd
have
have
seen
to-
a lot more flatheads last weekend or in Fort Madison.
From what I heard, Saturday the fishing was on fire, but that cold front, it dropped 7 degrees in a day. I think that really put a hurt on the fish.
True.
I mean, you're still going to catch some fish and you're still going to find some hungry fish, but that's a huge pressure change in 24 hours.
Have you ever tried soap? I got some of that Zote soap. I'm going to try that too sometime. That Zote soap is what the River Monsters guy, what's his name? Jeremy?
Isn't that the stuff we took down to
We took it to
Lee?
Morgan City and forgot to.
Forgot we
Yeah,
had it
forgot
because
we had
we
it.
were catching so many fish.
Tom says chicken and marshmallow kebab.
Mm-hmm.
Creek Chubs on Illinois. So what are you going to be using for bait? Can you tell us that at least?
Me?
Yeah.
I will have everything my hands can get on. How's that sound?
Okay, I like that.
And yes, let's put it this way. Yes, marshmallows will be in the boat.
I don't even know what I got to try it now. That's interesting.
And no, you cannot have it until after the tournament if there's left. I share
Imagine catching fish on marshmallows and chicken. All you had is marshmallows and chicken.
And then you take the Blackstone and you got yourself a meal too.
That's true. That is what's true. I mean, and like I said, if you don't catch your fish, you can cook the rest of it.
Yeah, because where did we? Oh, it was Mother's Day. We did buy chicken. Didn't end up using it.
We forgot we had it.
And we forgot we had it. And we put it in our cooler. Stayed cold and we cooked it a couple days later.
Do they got different flavor marshmallows now?
Oh,
I don't know about that. Thanks, Aaron. I'll try.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, guys, I hate to be rude, but dinner's home. I need to go see the family for a little bit before. If anybody has any questions, feel free to help any way possible.
Yeah, thanks for being on. Yeah, reach out to one of us. Like I said, if there's anything you got questions about, and make sure you get registered. We're excited to have a big turnout. First year we had 36 boats. Last year we had 50. Weather looks good according to our weatherman Tom. So hopefully we see you this weekend. And then Tyler, thank you so much for being on, hanging out with us tonight. And good luck. I'll have the points updated tomorrow, probably mid-morning. Will be on the Facebook page and also on the website. Everybody have a good night. And we'll see you this Friday night at the Pekin Boat Club in Pekin, Illinois for stop number 6. All righty.
Can't wait to see.
We are out.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you.
See you, Tyler.
See y'all.